Mackenzie, I know you think I'm crazy, but I promise it's gonna work.
No, never does.
I promise. It'll be okay. Because today, we're talking about why you should give legendary items to your low-level characters. Welcome to the Blue Dragon Guild, a channel all about Dungeons and Dragons. I'm Baron.
And I'm Mackenzie.
Legendary items are coveted by every single player ever. Typically, you do not get very many in a game session. Maybe two, maybe?
Yep.
It just depends on the level of play that you're at with your game. Some groups don't get past rare items.
Yeah.
It just does. It just depends on the story you're trying to tell. But legendary items is one of those things that is often viewed as you can't give it to the players until they are at max level or pretty close.
Pretty late. Got to be that extra last oomph to get them over to something else and make that big change, but that's not always the case.
I like to think that you can give your level, you can give a level 1 player a legendary item. Maybe they just don't know what it is right off the bat, but you can do it, and I don't think it will break the game, especially if you follow the narrative with it.
So in the talks, as you said, given to him early, a legendary item, there are, just in the real world, stories that you hear about, magic or big relics or something like that. As level 1, you may know that. Maybe you have no idea.
Yeah.
Maybe it's from somewhere else. You get the sword, and it's like, oh, it's got cool markings and engraving on it. Your level 1 wizard in the party, your people that will, figure out, study what the magic weapon is. And story-wise, they may not be able to figure that out. It wouldn't make any sense. Like, it's the same thing if you go somewhere and see an item, at a flea market or something, and go, oh, that's a cool item. You don't know what it's worth. You maybe not know its value. You don't know where it come from. So you just kind of fit that in. It's not really going to hurt or affect something. Maybe, maybe if it is a weapon, you add something special that happens if they do a crit. And it's like, why did that do that? And it starts to spark. Maybe we ask more questions. Maybe we figure out where this came from.
Absolutely. And by giving your players this legendary item, I think you can go the route of they don't know what it is. Yeah. But I also think you can absolutely go the route of letting them know this is something you shouldn't have.
Yeah.
So now, as their characters, they need to be a little more cautious with what they do, how they treat the item, so on and so forth.
Attention they draw to themselves from other people.
I think a great example of this is in Critical Role Campaign 2. I'm going to try to do this spoiler-free, so bear with me. The Mighty Nine, early on in their adventures, they come across a magic item that was being escorted by some guards, and through luck of the roll, they managed to liberate this item from those guards. They didn't really know what it was right off the bat, and they studied it and tried to figure out what it was, and as they messed around with it, they figured out what it did. Now, they realized, they took this from armed guards who were escorting it to a place. They realized this is something we should not have. Yeah. So they were very smart about how they protected that item from scrying, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah. And it turned out that was a fairly pivotal part of that story.
So if you were to give your party a legendary item, be sure as a DM to hype that up, make sure they understand the cautiousness of what this could be. You go out and just say, hey, Norman, we're going to just smash this town in. Okay, well, people are going to know who you are. And then people are going to hear this and be like, okay, how'd they smash all this? How'd that happen? If you're using that item to do so, and it's just a target directly to where you are. So make sure they're smart about it. Maybe it's a good lesson for them to learn.
Exactly. If they're not cautious, if they're not smart about it, that's just more story for you. Now they have some people coming after them trying to rob them, and you can tie that into a ton of different things.
If you were to give out these items, make sure it fits the story of what you're doing. Maybe if you're doing the Tyranny of Dragons, put in a orb of dragon kind. Fits in, makes sense. People will come after that. Yeah. People will try to find it. It'll work in that sense. If you give them something totally random, they might be like, we don't even need this. What does this do? It doesn't do anything in the story. It doesn't progress. It doesn't help us. Like, they might just be like, yeah, here you go. Here's the item.
Say you're playing in the world of Exandria. The Vestiges of Divergence are really awesome items that fit very well in that. If you want to know a little more about the Vestiges, you can find a link to our video about them down in the description. And if you're running in your own homebrew world, make a legendary item of your own. That way you can tie some lore to your world that your players instantly get involved with. And it will help tie them to the story and help them, kind of more interested in the things that you've made up.
Now, when doing this, there are some legendary items that require you to be either a wizard, maybe be able to do spell casting, maybe certain things you can be able to do, certain race stuff. So it's hard to just put that one item in, because then maybe it only enhances one person's story. Yeah, it wills the group, but the other one gets this more of a feel. If you want to keep it kind of open, make sure to find those items that are across the board, everyone can attune to it. You may be able to alter the rules stuff to where it'd be like, this is attuned to you guys, and maybe it stays for X long, because it's like, every day you have to reattune. Maybe it's something you can just pass in because there's a connection through that item, through all of you now. Maybe something to add in, could enhance the game and keep that different part of the story going. You always have, and I'm sure you understand, a way to make anything fit what you're doing more for your party's fun.
It's sponsor time. This is the first sponsored Blue Dragon Guild video.
Oh.
Let's check it out.
Join us July 15th at the University of Rio Grande for Final Boss Con.
This will be a great time. We have many activities, special guests. We have video games, anime, vendors, food trucks. This will be a lot of fun, so come and join us for year 2.
Be sure to stop by and meet voice actor Matthew David Rudd, who will be doing autographs and selfies.
And then come see Mr. Blaine Pardo, as he worked for Battletech and also does Land and Sea now. Come out and see him, listen to his panel.
Over 90 vendors will be there with us, selling all kinds of things.
It's going to be a blast, and we hope to see you all July 15th.
Final Boss Con.
But whatever item you give your party, make sure it enriches the story. So if you've ever gone off the deep end and given your players a legendary item, tell us about it down in the comments below. And if you'd like to see some more D&D content, hit that subscribe button. And until next time, keep the dice rolling.